What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Broke Creatives Podcast. We are so excited to be with you guys today. We are going to be talking about the 5 secrets to getting success in the creative industry. And I just want to say, we have a special guest today, Jarrett.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do. And we just want to welcome our dearest friend, queen of production, organization, everything you can even imagine, Miss Kelly.
I'm so glad you're here.
I'm so
It was so great.
here.
It was so convenient because you have your own podcast. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Anyways, but we got you here
Yes.
because you were already here. and
Do
now,
they have a podcast?
Do they have? I mean, I heard it today. Everybody else gets to hear it later, but
You guys, I'm super excited.
it's gonna
about
be
it.
so good.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so good.
What is your podcast on?
Wait, but
Let's
first
just go ahead and talk. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Let me just say thanks for inviting me here.
I mean, they need to know who she is too. But anyways, keep
Yeah,
going.
go ahead.
Okay, so let me say thank you. First of all, these are my brothers. I love them so much. It is so important. I know I'm segueing here, but it's so
okay.
important to surround yourself with like-minded people that will.
Yeah.
It's like iron sharpening iron. So being in the space with them, like my creative brain is just like boom, boom, boom every 5 seconds. being
Yeah, we
around
stay
them. So
coming up with ideas.
I'm telling you, every 5 seconds, I'm like, I need a pen and paper every time that I'm here. But anyway, they are absolutely awesome. So it's my privilege to be here. So thank you for having me.
We're glad you're here.
Yes. So,
Well, hey, tell the people who you are.
Who
So,
are you?
my-
Yeah,
Stranger?
I don't even know who she is.
stranger
She's just a random
danger.
person.
No, legit. We need to talk about that, how we met, because we were strangers.
We really, I mean, go for it. Wait, actually, hold on.
Okay.
We're going to talk about an unpopular opinion first because that's how we always start.
Okay,
And
let's do
then we'll get into it.
Okay.
It kind of ties into it.
It really does. But, okay, the unpopular opinion is done is better than perfect. Ooh, where's the crickets? We need crickets. It's on here somewhere. Anyways, done
say
is
that, yeah, say that again.
done is
One more
better.
time.
Or a done is better than perfect. But another version is an on-time B plus is better than a late A plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your boy's
That'll-
staying in that C grade level.
Yeah, and it's like super late. Anyways, no,
It's okay.
So what do you think about that? What do you think? I mean, I think that in the creative industry, a lot of people struggle with like perfection and
Yes.
thinking that they have to be perfect and it has to be amazing. But Sean knows I'm talking to him. Anyways, I think a lot of people do struggle with that though, and I think knowing and having the expectation of turning something in on time and getting something done on time, even if it's not 100% to the best, at least you can get some feedback. And if there is anything to change, they can change it. A lot of times, even with Sean, I know he's going to keep looking around,
Yes.
but there's probably that last 10% of stuff nobody's going to notice if you changed it anyways.
Yeah, they're not going to.
And it's like, I mean, you can still give them an excellent product, but like if they're not going to notice the change and it's something small that only you are going to notice, but it means that you're going to turn in something late. This is literally all straight to Sean.
You
but
can see that he's very uncomfortable right now.
yeah, I mean, it's all right. What do you think about that, Sean?
Yeah, what's your thought?
Tell me.
Man, that's one of the hardest lessons I've had to learn.
Yeah.
Like getting back to the serious side, like serious Sean. One of the hardest things that I had to learn, especially starting our own business, starting WordPlan Studios,
Yeah.
is everything. We kind of covered this before. Everything is about speed.
Mm-hmm.
And if there
And
is
having
no
a
speed,
sense of urgency.
a sense of urgency.
Yeah.
You're right. But one of the biggest things is I was always operating in my own time. And so that's kind of why I've always said I hate systems. I don't like systems. But I don't like systems because
Kelly and I are systems people.
Yeah,
Anyways,
definitely
yep.
systems people.
So I am definitely the oddball out on this one. But thanks to Jarrett, I am actually falling in love with systems, and I can't believe I'm saying that, Jarrett. And you just heard it live. You just heard it
Oh,
live.
they need to rewind it
But,
and play it again.
I'm actually falling in love with systems. And the reason why is because when there's systems in place, so many more things can happen.
Yeah.
And not just throughout the year or setting goals or different things like that, but day-to-day systems will help you operate on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
And so I'd say that to go back to my original mindset of perfection, like being perfect in everything isn't necessary to be successful.
Yeah.
And so when you're looking for, I'm just going to go to the video editing side.
Mm-hmm.
When you're looking for that right color or that right shade to knock out that shadow in the background, and you're doing all these little things, well, you go to show it somebody and their response would be the exact same as it would be if you didn't do that. And I actually tested this multiple times. It's proven. I would show somebody, so I would show Jarrett, I would show Will, I would show Robert, different videos to see the response that they would get. And I don't know if Jarrett knew this, but I would spend so much time on one little detail. And I know a lot of creatives do this in the editing process. They spend so much time on one detail, hoping that somebody sees it.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I ended up doing is going so deep into one edit, exporting that video, and then going to another video and not taking as much time. Mm-hmm. And the response was identical.
Interesting.
And so it was like, man, I got to get past this like hump. I have to see the response on both ends.
Yeah.
And that was actually a huge, like, not stab or like a hit to the gut. I knew that the perfectionist side was, it was too time consuming, and you can't scale, Jarrett.
It's like I'm glad this is great because I hear him hearing things
progress.
that I tell him over. Yeah, it's progress. For sure.
Sean's mind is,
And I think Jarrett has had the opposite impact on me. So for me, I've always seen myself just as the systems and structural person, and I didn't consider myself as a creative. And he's showing me that no, that is a part of it too. They can work in conjunction with each other.
That's
and
so
he's
good.
like, no, you're a creative as well. I'm like, no, most creatives are not structured. I'm not a structured person. But
That's
he showed me that it actually can work together.
Yes.
You know? So.
You know, for a minute, I actually at one point thought, I was like, man, I'm just not really creative. I'm probably just a systems person. That got shut down real quick because I think I tried to tell somebody that. And
I think you
like
tried
you
telling
did
me
me.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I was like, man, maybe I just need to work on systems and all that. And even thought about not really doing creative, like anything or production anymore. And I find myself always finding my way back into doing production and doing creative and all of that stuff. Yeah. I mean, even this week, when this episode airs, that same week, I'm going to be going out to help launch a tour on a Friday. And that's the same people that I went on tour with.
We all know who that is.
Yeah. So this last week, I was programming their stuff, and like we were getting all the opener and everything ready. And it was, obviously like we got stuff late and there was challenges to run into as far as getting things done and programming and stuff like that. But like, I already know that the tour is going to be amazing. Like everything that they're doing so far, it's going to be amazing. Yeah. So anyways, that's that. But we'll get into what we're going to talk about. But first, Kelly, tell us about you and all that. How did I meet you?
Okay, so we love sharing this story. I'm going to expose myself just a little bit here, but I knew Jarrett before he knew me.
Amen to that.
I knew Jarrett before he knew me. So I have a nonprofit.
Yes, she does.
Called Dare to Worship,
Ooh.
and we do these concerts. And so I am always looking for people that do things in excellence. Like that's just my makeup. And I'm always pushing myself to get better, and I want the experience to be just that. I want an experience for people when they come. So I follow a lot of musical people, and so I was watching one of my friend's stories, and I saw this lighting. It was I don't know, it was like an audit, this light, and it captured me.
This thing.
I'm pretty sure it was me doing lighting at church when I was on staff at church.
I think
Whatever
it was
it
Christmas.
grabbed my attention, and that I was like,
it was definitely Christmas.
yes, it was.
Yep.
So I took a screenshot. Y'all know y'all be screenshotting people. So I took a screenshot of it because the guy tagged Jarrett in it. So I knew at some point in life I needed to introduce myself to him, like because I want you to work with me. I'm like, oh my God, like yes, this is what I need. So and it had to be maybe like months later. I didn't follow him or anything. Probably should have followed you at that time. I didn't follow him or anything, but I've always just kept it like in my little folder to go back to. So when I am creating this team or this experience, I know who I'm going to contact. So, I called him a few months later because we were getting an event together.
No, you definitely messaged me on Instagram
messaged
first.
him. I DM'd him. And I could probably find it, but basically it sounded something like this. Hey, you don't know me.
No, it's exactly how it sounded.
I was like, a fan of your work.
I remember I was sitting.
You know what would be so funny? I know the audio-only audience needs to like not slack and jump on YouTube, but it would be cool to get a screenshot of that. actually check
Well,
out.
funny story. My Instagram got banned. Like they literally deleted my
So
Instagram.
that's
still
not
have it.
happening.
Yeah.
I
Sorry,
should still
guys.
have it, though.
You might still have it. I
should
know I
still
for
have
sure
it.
don't have it.
I don't delete anything. I
Yeah,
save all
but
that.
it was hilarious. She literally, and I remember I was sitting at a breakfast restaurant with my grandmother, and I got this I was like, "What the heck?" And I'm
Who is
pretty
this?
sure, like, she called me, like we were talking back and forth, and she called me probably like 15 minutes after that.
Yeah.
And I went outside the restaurant, like my grandma, she's in there eating, and I went outside to talk to her on the phone, and it was like 30 minutes later. I go back in, my grandma's completely done eating, and all my food had just sat there, like whatever.
And that's what happens when you just get in conversation with another creative, because it started off just me trying to introduce myself, what I do, what I was
Yeah.
trying to,
Right.
and then all of a sudden it came like a creative planning meeting or something. Like, I don't know.
No, yeah,
It was the
it was-
first
It
Zoom
was
call.
crazy.
No, it wasn't. It was just a phone call, and I was, by the time she was like, while she was talking to me, I was telling her about structure and meetings that she needed to have and things she needed to do that she didn't even know she needed to do.
Yeah, and I was like, wait a
do you have?
minute,
I was
pause,
like, do you have an
pause, pause.
opener? I was like, what is your whole plan for this? Do you have a flow? Blah. She's like, I don't know.
I'm like, I need you. So from there, I was like, hey, can we schedule a real meeting? Because this was literally just me
Right.
wanting to introduce myself.
Yeah.
And so then the next Zoom call.
I don't
is
ever
when-
do just introductions. It's always like, okay, cool, let's plan.
It was crazy. So then I think, Sean, that's when you came
Yes.
and I got introduced
Brucey.
to the whole team, and my mind was completely blown. So
Yeah,
but
we kind of just
We did a
bombarded
Zoom
you.
call, right?
Yeah, that was the Zoom call.
Yeah, we did a
they
Zoom
gave me
call.
dancers. I think we had
Oh yeah,
everything.
because Micah was on the
Micah
Zoom
was
call
on
too.
there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was really cool. But needless to say, that experience.
The exact face.
We do that face. She gives us that face a lot. Like when we brought her
Every
into the
time.
studio, it was the same thing. Anyways,
Listen.
keep going.
Yes. But the experience that we curated with you guys was the best experience we've had so far.
Wow.
And I think we'll talk about this later on, but just
Yeah,
the
we will.
progression of things, because where we started off in 2013, I think, and where we ended up in 2021, it's like,
Wow.
man, but God always sends the people that you need, and you can see the progression
time.
of it. You can see
Yeah.
the level of excellence. And I talk about this all the time with people that are just beginning, because I have a heart for excellence. I want to do things, I dream big. It was great. My first experience, the first worship experience that we did, it was great, but that was my level best,
Right.
at that particular time. And I always tell my team, like, it's not that we're trying to beat that, but our level of excellence should always be increasing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if I look at the
That's good.
flyers that we did in 2013, and the flyer that I'm like, I cringe when I see our first flyer. I'm like, oh, we put that out, because it does not compare to the level of even flyers
That's good.
that we do now. And
Yeah.
so even with you guys coming on board, I mean, you guys brought us up to a totally different level. I don't even want to do another event if we can't do it like we did in 2021. But yeah, so you have to give yourself space and grace as a creative
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
progress.
Right.
Yeah.
That's huge. And I think finding the right people,
God,
let's
that's
just,
major.
what's our next point, Jarrett?
Yeah,
because
right
we have,
here.
I mean, I think this conversation is just going to carry through all of this.
well, I think it's really cool because almost every episode, I say every episode as if we've done 50 episodes, but
I mean,
literally
we probably
every,
could have the amount of conversations that we've had.
yeah, but every episode, it has seemed like we have found the right people without even trying.
Yeah.
And every time God's going to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you just got to go through life and go through your business and know that it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know where I was going with that. I had like a thought in my head, but
yeah, you do that a lot. It's okay. That's why we have notes, Sean. Anyways, it's okay. This is going to be great. Structured, not. But it's okay. He's getting there. He's doing better. He's doing better.
It's the
So
balance.
it's great because guess what? We're going to talk about 5 secrets to achieving success in the creative industry. And one of them is about, staying on track. Anyways, the first one is going to be setting the objective or goal. Setting the objective or goal. So I think, there was this one quote that was actually I found earlier because I was kind of figuring out some notes and stuff for what we're going to talk about. But they said a goal is a dream with a deadline. And I think all of us have dreams.
that's huge.
We have crazy amounts of dreams. And a lot of the times people get so caught up and just afraid of trying to figure out what to do to pursue their dreams or, what's the first step to take, whatever.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people get stuck and they just don't know what to do. They just don't move. They don't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's even, I guess, also segue into the next point, which is start immediately. But the way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing, which
That's right.
it's funny because Kelly and I were just talking about a surprise that was probably happening later. But I was like, let's just do like a sample. Like, let's just try it out. Let's figure out how we can do it. But that, I think, is what people get caught up on, is that you have all these goals and objectives, stuff like that. But if you don't have, and a lot of the times I always talk about SMART goals, which is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. And if you can have a SMART goal, then it literally sets you up for success to achieve it.
Can you say that one more time?
Yeah.
SMART goal is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based.
That's so good.
And I think all of those, I mean, specific, that's going to give you a very specific target. Measurable, figuring out what your milestones are inside of your goal.
Yep.
Attainable is it, realistic to attain it? Like, what are the steps you're going to have to take to attain it? Relevant, is it something that you absolutely need right now? Is it need to be a goal? Is it apply to exactly what you're doing? Like, what are your bigger goals? That's a whole nother thing that we need to go into, is talking about goals. And anyways, big three. Remind me to talk to y'all about big three later on. Anyways, and then time-based, adding a timeline to it, I think, is the biggest thing that people struggle with. Is they're like, oh yeah, we have this, goal. Cool. Put a time on it. Like, when are we going to do it?
Yeah.
I want to take these notes with me. If you know, I'm like, this is good. This is good for me.
I mean, there is a quote that, Jarrett, remind me who it is. Is it Napoleon Hill?
Yeah. A goal is a dream with a deadline.
Yes.
Yeah.
So good. I know that we saw that the other day.
Yeah.
And it was, anyways.
Yeah. Well,
But
there's one other one that says that if you aim at nothing, you'll hit it every time. Which that one, I've heard that. I heard it like 3 or 4 days ago. And I kid you not, everybody that I was in the room with was like, and they looked at me because, of course, I have this note that I write everything on. And so they're like, write that one down. And I'm like, okay, that's one of them. But it's so true. If you do aim at nothing, like if you set your target low and or just, nothing, you're going to hit it every single time because you didn't have a high goal. And so I think that I personally always try to aim to something that I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to achieve.
Yeah.
Because I'm at least going to get close. But if you, what?
So I think that kind of leads me to kind of the question that we talked about kind of off air. But if that's the case, then how do we measure success? Or what is success? How do we define that?
Well,
so
it's funny.
I'm going to jump into.
You jump in, and then I'll jump in.
Okay. I want to jump in because I want to ask Kelly, and I want to ask you too, Jarrett.
Yeah, I was like, cough my lungs up.
So, Kelly, Jarrett's going to laugh when I ask you.
Okay.
But if there's somebody that has a dream and God blesses them with the dream overnight, literally overnight.
Okay.
So if someone one day, this is my dream, if I make it, it's going to be great, going to be super successful, that's it. That's where I want to be. And when I make it there, I'm done. That's everything. What is your encouragement to that person or somebody that has that thought process, and then the next day God blesses them with
and they
their dream?
hit that goal when they're 26 years old?
Wow.
They get what they thought was going to be the biggest point in their life, their most success, most, highest achievement, and they hit it when they're 26.
Ooh, that's awesome. I think that speaks to God's plans for our lives. A lot of times.
I wonder who that could be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
it's not
what and how he sees us, and I mean, oh God, it means a lot. It means he can entrust you with that, right? Especially at that age or whatever the case is or whatever. But if he's giving it to you, you've needed it for that time, for that purpose.
Yeah.
And other people need it, because I think a lot of our gifts our yes is attached to someone else's, moving them forward too.
Right.
So it's not just about us. So maybe your dream may have stopped there, but clearly the Lord has something bigger, to keep moving forward in that, and how many people aside from you can you touch or bless or be able to encourage just by your stories, even the story of what you guys have experienced with this studio. I was so encouraged. I was so inspired by it. It increased my own faith, right? Like
it did the moment that y'all walked in.
And I think that's what it's about. So it's like, man, so now the next question is, all right, well, clearly there's more. And then we ask the Lord, what else? What's next? What do you want from us? Because he's put more on our plate. So if he's done that, one, you can handle it. And then two, I just think that it's clear indication that it's more for you.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it was funny. So we were talking to all of our mutual friend, Bruce.
Oh yeah,
Bruce Briggs.
Shout out to Bruce.
Brucey.
Hey, he's gonna be a
Bruce.
guest on here too. I said
Oh,
you need to
cool.
come back home for like a day or two.
Yeah, he's in
You know,
New
we.
York. What, Vegas?
How long
Where is
was
he
our
right now?
he's in-
FaceTime call?
I don't know. We FaceTimed
2
him.
hours?
Yeah, it was probably longer than that.
Oh, wow.
Because it broke up and then we got back on and that one was 2 hours. So it was definitely longer than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one thing that he said that still like gets me thinking anytime I think about it, I'm like, man, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Is success is not a final point. Or he said success is not finality, it's just a milestone.
Yes.
And I was like,
It
I think I
changes
talked
every time.
Yeah, I think I talked about that on the last podcast and probably the one before that, just because it hit me every single time. But I think that a lot of people do think that success is going to be that final point to where, you know, it's like, okay, cool. What's after this? I don't know. Whatever, you know, like this is it. But I always look at it as like you can, once you, especially with your goals, like if you have a goal, you achieve success as a goal and then you're able to move on past that. Like that's
Right.
going to be, okay, what's my next goal?
Yeah.
And then what's that success look like?
And like you said, like it could just be starting. So like for me, I am trying to become more health conscious, right? So,
Me too.
you know, just
Him too.
either working out or, you know, whatever the case is. And my husband and I, we've been trying, you know, and one time life just got busy. And so like I took off like a full week. So anybody that knows trying to get back in is a headache, you know? So I had worked myself up to almost, 3 miles. And I'm like, man, I took this week off, you know? So I got, he's like, hey, you want to go work out? Sure. We go work out. I'm tired at like 1.5 miles. But then, I pushed myself a little bit further and then I stopped. But I told myself, because I was getting down on myself. I'm like, man, I was up to 3 miles. I was doing this and that. But as I was walking away, I said, no, the success is I went. You know, I didn't feel like it.
Come on.
The success was I pushed myself out of my comfort zone and I started. Like I just went, whether I had to start over or whatever the case is. That was the win for the day.
Yeah.
So I think that's what you're saying. Like, hey, success has those markers where they grow as you grow. So.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, that even leads into the second point of the 5 secrets is starting immediately. Take responsibility for your goal that you want to achieve and just own it and do it. Just, and so like that quote from Walt Disney that does say, it says the way to get started is to quit talking, begin doing. And it's like a lot of people get stuck in that. They just think all day long, but they don't actually do it. And it's like, I know even like there's been examples of me and Sean, and I'm sure you, that you've had, goals and ideas and dreams that you just don't know where to get started, or you're afraid of getting started and afraid of taking that first step. And I think a lot of times people get stuck there, but it's like, as soon as you take that first step, there's this book, I don't remember exactly what it's called, but I think it's called like Getting the One or something like that.
Oh.
Anyways, it's all about getting that
We can
first
link
one.
it down below.
Yeah.
We'll link it down below.
It's all about getting that first one. So you get the first sale, or you get the first client, or you get the first artist confirmed, or you get the first, business deal, whatever the case may be. You get that first one, and after that, every single one is easier. It's all about getting that first one, but you have to get the first one, or you're never going to get the second one.
Right.
If you don't ever get the first one. So,
That's good.
starting immediately. And then the third one is ask for help.
But that's what I was going to say is if you don't know where to start,
Ask for help.
literally ask for help.
But if you do know where to start and you still need help, don't be afraid to ask for help.
Don't be afraid to stalk people.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. I'm just joking. No,
true,
do not stalk people. But I did. I mean, I knew what I want. I knew where we were going.
Yeah.
I needed some additional help.
Yeah.
Like we had done maybe like 5 or 6 events prior to these guys coming on board, but I knew that there was more for us to do, and we needed some additional help. And I tell them all the time, like if people don't respond to me right away, I tell them all the time, I have no problem with stalking you. Like some people don't like rejection, and I get it, like, and that's not necessarily rejection. But if they don't get back to you, or they say no, or I don't let that move me, like I really don't. Like I really don't. But especially if I know that this is someone that I need something that they have, and the gifts that they had, I knew that I needed. I needed that. So. Yeah, don't be afraid to ask for help.
That's so good.
Yeah, I mean, asking for help, I think, is the biggest, especially with creatives. I keep saying creatives in general, but it's just because I've seen it. Creatives are always afraid of asking for help because they're intimidated, or
they're in a box.
Yeah, they're in a box. I know a ton of creatives in boxes, but a lot of the times people view asking for help as a sign of weakness or maybe they're intimidated by the person that they need to ask for help, and they view them as a threat or something like that. And it's like, people just got to get that mindset out of their head. Like it's got to go.
And that kind of goes into what we've always said. It's not about the how, it's the who.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so with that, it goes back to the same exact thing.
Yeah.
You may not know how to do it, but there's a who out there that knows how to do it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's good.
it goes along with that too.
Team.
That was good.
That was good.
Okay, number 4 is stay on track, which is hard for some people. And
That's where we come into play.
that is where we come into play. I was like, I can write notes about this one all day long. No, the notes that I put on here was have a system to track your progress, which is fantastic. But it's not even about having a project management system, although they're great. It's not about having, a document, a CRM, although they're great. But like even for your own personal goals, like have a way to track, how you're achieving success. Because if you don't know that you're winning, that's just internally going to slow you down.
Yeah,
Right.
But you have to know that you're winning, but you have to be able to see that you're winning as well.
that's good.
Is there I was like, is there whatever.
It's like
Anyways,
a watch going off.
yeah, easily distracted. Oh, well. Anyways, have a system to track your progress, but have somebody also that's able to hold you accountable. I think those are the biggest things to help you achieve your goals, in my opinion, because I'm a systems person. But I think that,
And I'm
I mean,
not.
yeah,
And yes.
we know. Yeah. But listen,
It's crazy.
I mean,
it's crazy the people God places with each other too.
yeah,
Just super thankful for this one over here.
Yeah, both of you guys. I feel the same way. So I think these are both equally as important, especially for visionaries.
Yeah.
Just because as a visionary, sometimes you are looking so far down the line, or maybe you have this big vision, but it comes in in small steps. It is difficult for you to celebrate the wins.
Yeah.
Because you just see the big picture.
Yeah.
And I know that I've gotten caught like that sometimes, where my team is like, "Oh man, that was awesome," and I can't even fully celebrate because I'm like, "No, I want it to look like this, what I have in my head, and we're not there yet." So I think, like you said,
I feel like that could even be one of the secrets, though, is celebrating the wins.
Yeah.
Because even micro wins are still wins.
Yeah. And I think that goes into having a system to track your progress, because you'll be able to look back and see what you've done. Yeah. And not only that, I don't know how many people come to me now, which I don't feel like I'm an expert in a way, but they'll come to me and ask, "Oh, how did you do this event? Can you help me?" So now I'm able to show, this is what I did. This is what worked for me. This is what didn't work. They can do it how they will. But at least if you have that in place, that helps track it. And then the other part, I think, is, would you say, have someone that will keep you accountable?
Yeah.
Those are so needed. Those people are so needed, especially if you're scatterbrained. I can be scatterbrained sometimes. Like, I start this and I want to do this and do that. But it's so good to have someone to keep you on track. I have a person on my team like that. That's like, "Kelly, get it together.
Oh, yeah.
Focus on this." But I think those are the most pertinent people to have in your life.
Amen. Amen to that.
Yeah, that's the
Full
truth.
show.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about staying on track, Sean?
Oh man.
Focus.
Staying focused. You have to stay focused. Don't get too caught up in the little details.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about that on episode 2, is everything's about speed. And if you get caught up on one thing,
Yeah.
I mean, you can't go anywhere. You can't scale. And so when you know the right people, again, it's not about the how, it's about the who. And so with the who's, there's going to be a who that steps into your life that helps you succeed.
Yeah.
Yes, Lord.
So, and I know God picks very specific people in very specific seasons of your life that you need. It's all about timing.
Timing is crazy.
Timing is crazy.
If that's anything that I've learned, is that the timing, God's timing is the only timing you need to worry about.
Listen.
I mean, even if we took maybe 5 or 10 minutes out of our day, to close our day out and think about, okay, God, what if this one thing didn't happen at this time? Then this thing wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
And then if that didn't happen, this wouldn't have happened. If Jarrett wouldn't have opened the door for Josh Fierstein, Josh would have no idea about the lighting and the production side of things. And we wouldn't have gotten invited to do the lighting at Warplant Studios and all of it. If you didn't stock Jarrett in the perfect time on that day at that specific time, maybe he would have been on a trip and his phone would have been off. There's so many things that go into God's plan, and every single day there's something happening.
Yeah.
So just take the time to think about it.
Yeah, that's good.
Anyways.
Okay, number 5. Last one. Last one. Find a way to win. What does it take to succeed?
Ugh. That was like a good ugh. Because there's so many different ways.
There is.
Yeah. And I wrote down here because I know,
Yeah.
listen, me making notes is crazy. They don't have notes. I have notes.
We don't have notes.
But hey, you know what? It says, so find a way to win. What does it take to succeed? And what is grit? What is grit?
You need it.
Yes.
There is
You need it.
there is all kinds of
You know what
rabbit
that
trails
you know
can go down.
Yeah, you know one rabbit trail that we can go down?
What?
Knowing your why.
It's like
Okay.
you've talked about that before.
You have to know your why.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
so
you
true.
do.
You have to.
Yeah.
To keep your grit and to keep yourself on track, knowing your why is going to support everything that we've talked about
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
And when you know your why, it's hard to get burned out. It's hard to constantly just, sorry, I am so distracted right now.
Anyways, keep going.
Grit.
Yes, grit. Thank
And
you
your
guys.
why.
I'm having grit to stay focused.
Yeah.
Just understanding that your why is the base of all aspects of success.
Yeah.
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 will
And
end right
I
there.
found this one quote. It said, opportunities don't just happen, you create them. And so,
Wait,
oh,
hang on. You caught me in that moment where my mind was like listening, but it was just so big I couldn't grasp it in
Yeah.
that moment.
yeah. Well, I mean, that goes with grit is having skin in the game, willing to take risks, all of that stuff. But opportunities don't just happen, you create them.
Man.
Yeah, let that one hit you. And then here's one more because everybody knows on this podcast by now that I'm the quote person. So I'm going to find some
Definitely
quotes.
the quote
But
person.
anyways, it says there's 2 types of people in the world who will tell you that you cannot make a difference. Those who are afraid to try and those who are afraid you'll succeed.
That's good.
Yeah. Anyways,
Man, that's good.
Hi, I'm Jarrett, and I write quotes for a living.
you know, I
No,
won't.
the whole
should.
notebook.
I
Have they
will-
seen your notebook?
They haven't seen. They will soon. We're working on
you-
this.
That's
We're,
insane.
we're working on this thing. I'll tell you after the podcast because they can't know about it yet.
Okay,
But
okay.
we're working on this thing. They're about to get it. But anyways,
love it.
so
It's-
what is grit though? I think that as far as
Yeah.
like skin in the game and willing to pay your price, I think
Yeah.
that's the thing. You know,
I think it's a little bit of tenacity.
Yeah.
You know,
There it
like
is.
being
Yeah.
able
We're
to-
we're getting deeper.
we're getting deeper. You can't hit if you don't swing. Like
okay.
okay, always.
We're still a little broad right now.
okay.
What's grit?
What is grit?
What's
I
success?
think grit is really like I think of skin in the game when I think of grit, like being willing to kind of do whatever it takes to make sure
I
that
agree.
something happens.
Yeah.
And if like with your goals or wanting to achieve success, like you should, if it's something that you're wanting to do and wanting to achieve, then you should be able to do whatever it takes to achieve it.
Yeah.
But if you're not willing to go all the way, then why start?
Wow.
Go
That's-
hard or go home.
Go. I mean,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
good. So let's recap.
hold on, I got another quote.
Bring
Yeah,
it
one
on.
more quote.
John
Bring it
Wayne,
on.
ready?
Oh,
Courage is being scared to death, but saddling up anyways.
That's your grit. Yeah, that's great.
That's
wow.
grit.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
grit to me. Is
You know, I think that's
knowing
actually
that.
a movie, a John Wayne movie.
Oh, I'm sure it is. I'm sure. But
Isn't
think about it
Grit
though.
with
Like
John Wayne? You guys can
like the actual
quote me if I'm wrong, but
courage to know that like you could die or obviously like don't go.
I think it is.
Don't risk your life
Use
unless
wisdom,
you need
guys.
to. Use wisdom, yeah. But like be willing to like like know that you may fail, but you're still gonna try anyways. Don't be
That's
afraid of
right.
failure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think is a
I think what someone said was failing forward or something like that. So I don't even know if it's truly failing if you've learned something from it, and
Well,
you
wasn't there
can say-
Thomas Edison? Like he
True
failed.
grit.
Yeah.
He failed to, create the light bulb or something like that. How many times? Like it was
It was a
some crazy high number.
But grit is what I feel like will keep you going.
Right, exactly.
no
Because
matter how many times.
he knew that no matter what, if he was going to fail, he was still going to go in. And in my opinion, if you don't have grit, you won't succeed.
Yeah, you gotta
Oof.
have it.
I don't think you will. I mean, I think that's truly like that's one of the
Because
things.
you'll stop.
Right.
You'll reach enough times where you feel like you said like failures or whatever, and
Yeah.
you'll just be like, "Why am I doing this?"
Yeah. Well, there's one. Guess what, guys? Got another quote. But anyways, this is almost my last quote. It
It's
says,
actually a John Wayne movie called True Grit.
Really?
Really?
Yes.
That's
I know my John Wayne movies. Come on.
Okay.
That's good. Okay. The last 10% it takes to launch something takes just as much energy as the first 90%.
Jeez, Jarrett.
Jeez, Jarrett. Anyways,
That's
I mean,
good.
I think that's true though. You can do a lot of stuff. He's a sound effects guy too. But I do think that you could set a lot of stuff up, and you can do all of this work up to but that last stretch, that's usually the hardest stretch. But as long as you have the grit and you're willing to keep pushing forward,
That's
I
so
think
good.
In track and field, I don't know if anybody's running track, but it's the same. So like you'll hit that last
little bit.
stride, and then it's like I remember my track coach telling me like kick, like that's when I'm supposed to kick in. I'm like, wait, I just gave my hardest. This whole, like especially if you're running a 400 or 200 or something like that. But then they're expecting you like that last 100 to like that's when they're telling you to kick in, and I'm like, what the world? And you have to take it to another gear, like take it another gear.
Exactly.
So I think it's the same thing in your mindset here. Like that's not the time for you to slow down. That's for time you to
Yeah.
get in.
That is so good.
Anyways, I think we talked about a lot today.
Yeah.
I think it's super informative.
Yeah.
Five secrets to achieving success.
Let's
Set the
recap.
objective
Come
and
on.
goal.
Okay.
Start immediately. Ask for help. Don't be
Stay
afraid
on
to
track.
ask. Stay on track, and then find a way to win.
Find a way to
Boom.
win.
Yeah. Well, Kelly, it was super great having you.
It's been
And
my pleasure, guys.
I'm sure you'll be back on again.
Yeah.
We got to get your hubby on.
Yes.
We got a bunch of people.
We got a lot.
I'm like, man, there's so many people. Me being the systems person, I have like 14 episodes planned out. So, it is what it is. But
I'll be back.
It is what it is.
anyways, anything you want to leave the people with?
No, I was actually going to hand it over to Kelly.
Oh,
Kelly,
wow.
what is, I'm going to put you on the spot real quick.
Alrighty.
What is one piece of inspiration that you can leave us with?
I think that everything that we have gone through, it all plays a part into where we are heading in life. Every quote unquote failure that I've had, or maybe what I've deemed as a failure, every mistake or whatever, and even times where I feel like I've gone backwards,
Yes.
it all has tied into the things that I am doing now. And I know that the
Wow.
Lord has more. So
Yeah.
there's no wasted time. I think the Lord redeems the time for us. And you have to trust that. So trust
That's
the
so
process.
good.
Yeah. So that's my little 2 cents.
Trust the process.
Yeah.
You know what we forgot to talk about?
What did we forget to talk about?
Your podcast.
Oh,
we
Made
got to
for
tell people. We got to
More.
tell people about it.
Made for more.
It's coming soon.
Yo.
It's coming. Really
It's not
Made
done yet,
for
but
more.
it's coming.
It's coming, and it's
Oh.
good. It's
Okay,
really
so
good.
super quick. What is it about? Tell me, like just
Okay.
long story short.
Okay, so like really quickly, just kind of what we were talking about, just obstacles and things that we have faced in life.
Right.
Knowing that we all have a decision to make.
Yeah.
We can stay there. We can feel stuck because sometimes when we go through things, it paralyzes us. But
That's
not
true.
to be paralyzed, but we move forward in that and to
Yeah.
know that all things really do work together.
Yeah.
For the good.
So
So that's really what it is. Like we're made for more. We're made for more than that moment,
Yes.
than that challenge, and so that's kind of the gist of it.
Yeah. So you have you
Yes.
and your husband.
It's me and my husband, my handsome husband.
Mm-hmm.
And
he
one
here?
of my, he's here. He's over there somewhere.
Somewhere. Yeah.
And
there he is.
a
Good-looking
good friend of
man.
ours,
Yeah.
Sean is crazy. And then,
He's a mess.
I feel like I'm 2 feet tall compared to
cannot
him.
stand him. And
Just
then,
like,
a
We're gonna
really
need
good
to get
friend.
like some elevated seats. when we have
Yeah.
them
I
on.
feel
Both
like
of
a
them
little
are, like-
person.
I think they're both 6'7". I don't
They're-
know.
yeah,
They're,
it's
like,
just
super
tall.
So
I'm usually the tallest, but
No, Jarrett
So,
looks like
yeah.
a mini me.
I heard about somebody with a size 18 shoe recently, and
What?
I'm like, oh, well,
they have to have custom made shoes then.
Oh,
right? Like, all the time?
100%. Or they go to I don't know. I think there's some places around here that I don't know why they would do that.
We
though.
struggle trying to find my husband's shoes, and he's a 13.
I'm a 14, and I'm like,
what?
everybody's like, oh, I'm going to go shoe shopping. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go watch you.
Right, because I don't know how you find
Yeah,
shoes.
no,
That's
I don't.
crazy.
But
yes.
anyways, this podcast is going to be amazing. We actually, so the same day we're recording this, we recorded 2 of theirs.
We did.
So we got it all going. It sounded amazing. It's going to be such good content.
It's gonna be really
Excited
good.
They're
about it.
funny. Like these people are funny. Like, I'll let you in on a little secret.